Merry Christmas, Wardy. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you so much for the couple 100 bits there. Really do appreciate it. To the bottom right hand side, our blue Terran player from XED Sports. This is Clem. Up against the red Zerg in the upper left hand side, we've got ourselves Iron Chain's Nerchio. He's been a little bit absent from the online cups lately. I'm not sure if he's just been taking a little bit of a break or whether he's just been unfortunate with dates. We didn't see him in the WardiTV Christmas Invitational. We didn't see him in 2018 as left the game. I also don't think we saw him in the Ting Open, so actually kind of it's actually been kind of crazy. It's actually been kind of crazy. Let's see if those drones are going to get mining away here. I'm getting this going. What's up, Dynamic905? Thank you so much for your Twitch Prime sub as well. You're spreading some Christmas joy up in here. I appreciate that. Who is that? Wow. Toss Boy as well. F91. Thank you so much for the subscription too. I know you're always looking for replays. If you're having trouble with them, hit me up on Discord. I'll get them over to you. Thank you so much for the subs, guys. Back to back. Ay, ay, ay. Out of nowhere. The double sub. Pooh, pooh. Boom. And what's up, guys? How are you all doing today? Let me know if you're out there in the chat. Obviously, I expect a lot of people to be kind of tuning in very kind of lurkery mode today because, well, it's Christmas. And I imagine that a lot of people kind of have maybe the stream on to kind of nip back to while they're cooking some nice Christmas dinner, or maybe they're trying to sneak away from their family every now and then, or they're just watching, you know, kind of, a little bit silently trying to sneak some StarCraft 2 into their day. Sup, hello Zergling, thank you so much for the 100 bits as well. What is this? This like 1 minute of love. 200 bits, Twitch Prime sub, 100 bits. Boom, 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 boom. Everyone just coming through like, quick, Wardy, here, take this. Very rewarding us right back at you, hello Zergling. Thank you for the 100 bits and all the support throughout the year, dude. I appreciate it as always. I feel like every stream I do, you're in here. Some real passion on your half. Reaper escapes out and does pick off that drone, actually. That's kind of a big deal. Drone trying to make the third, but the SCV blocking it. So, worth keeping this SCV here from Clem, because not only does it delay things here, it's also going to slow things down. What is going on? Dolphin Wolf comes in with the 200 bits with the Merry Christmas hashtag charity. Merry Christmas right back at you, Dolphin Wolf, as well. And Dynamic905 comes in with the 5 gifted subs. There's some hype in the chat for Dynamic905, guys. If you guys hear your name right now, you just got hit by Dynamic905's sub bomb. Struhundra, S200, Raidus Feroce, Industrious Revolution, Suicide Fish, and White Puma 01. You guys just got hit by with subs. Thanks to Dynamic905. Appreciate it. Couple of drones going down here as the Hellions run in, as we're going to be seeing Clem popping up to the high ground here, and going to be chased down by a couple of lings. Thank you so much for the love, guys. Wow, I'm actually caught a little bit off guard. Thank you for the bits, thank you for the subs, thank you for... Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Wow, thank you. Get some love in the chat, some hype in the chat. Spam your Wardy hypes, your Wardy loves, your Wardy hearts, whatever you got. I'm spamming mine. Thank you for all the high quality SE2 you do, says Dynamic. Well, dude, thank you so much for the love. Honestly, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. What a legend. What a legend. Appreciate it. Sorry, there was a question in the chat that I actually thought was kind of interesting, which was the question of Wardy, in terms of early and mid and late game, overall, what do I think is the best race overall in the current patch? I mean, honestly, like, I feel like no race is really excelling over the others. Terran's had a strong week or two in TVZ, and we definitely see Hellion, Cyclone, Banshee being a very prominent style. I wouldn't say Terran are struggling in TVZ at all. In fact, I think now that Zergs have figured out BCs, in general, Terran and Zerg are having a good time. In the Protoss matchups, I think Protoss versus Terran is a little bit Protoss favored. I think Terran are very limited on options, and the few aggressive builds they have are starting to be figured out. But I'm very excited to see what else people come up with to try and keep on winning in PvT. Because I feel right now PvT is being carried by some very aggressive builds that are working very well, but as those get figured out, it'll be interesting to see what the Terrans start to do instead. PvZ is kind of the same as it's always been. I think it's a little bit neither here nor there, and I wouldn't say it really favors one person more than the others or anything like that. Yeah, I think PvZ is kind of in a good little middling position for the most part. So yeah, honestly, I mean, to kind of answer your question very badly, I actually don't think any race is really kind of strong right now. Much stronger than the others. I'd say maybe Protoss is in a good position overall, but I wouldn't say it's like Protoss are going to win everything sort of thing, you know? Definitely very beatable. Orbital lifts up here, going to move on down over to the low ground and obviously just get that set up. We've not talked much about how this game has gone. That Banshee picking up 6 drones is nice. The early couple of Hellions got a couple of drones as well. Other than that, it's just been straight to statement bioplay here from Clem. He's rocking that brand new orbital, that brand new engineering bay actually looks badass. The new engineering bay skin on the war chest. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't purchased your war chest yet, where you get these skins from, you can actually purchase it through my affiliate link. !war chest in the chat will give you that link. I get a percentage of every sale on that if you go through the link. So I get a percentage of the sale as you purchase your war chest, and then you can level it up while watching the stream as well. So get yourselves a nice Christmas gift. Get yourselves that war chest. Definitely, definitely worth getting, I think. If you play StarCraft at all, the skins are very cool to have, you know, mix and match and complete your collection. War chest is a very good value for the amount of skins you get for the price, so do check that out. Again, that's !war chest if anyone wants to see it. But yeah, elsewhere in the game, melee upgrades on the way, and we do see links starting to stream across the map here from Nerchio. His carapace is up a little bit compared to the melee. As you have the Marines just poking their way in towards that hatchery, dealing a little bit of damage. In fact, that 4th base going down. Lings on the other side have killed 4 SCVs, but that's about it. They get the bunker as well. Has the new Tempest been used all that much? I feel like I haven't seen it outside of the role I always play, despite the changes. I feel like we're seeing it a little bit more often. I feel like it's a little bit better at what it does now as well. So, yeah, we've also seen a couple of builds as like 2 base Tempest where you kind of tap the Tempest behind a mineral line early and it really annoys the Zerg because you can kill drones. So there's been a couple of examples of the Tempest being used kind of interestingly. Honestly, I don't think the Tempest was intended to be used differently. I think the Tempest was just intended to be better at its current job, which I don't think there was any issue with. As you see, 7 SCVs going down here at the moment. Some Marines coming back in to help deal with this. The still is pushed across the map. I mean, this was a huge counterattack by Nerchio. A lot of Zerglings, but they're now starting to melt as these Marines fight against them. Good step backwards by Clem as well. He's going to clean this up, and he still has this push on this side. I mean, a new 4th base from Nerchio now on the bottom side of the map has completely changed up the direction he's working on this side. As those Marines still getting going, lifting up into those medevacs, tanks firing. The Marines all going to drop down to try and maybe get the Banes. Nope, just going to leave the tanks there on their own and go into the main base to drop. May want to keep his opponent distracted so he can push elsewhere at the same time. In which case, dropping into the main definitely does keep Nerchio from sending counterattacks across and all the rest of it. Clem at the moment, though, is just... I mean, Nerchio's got money in the bank to spend, and if he spends it, okay, he'll catch up a bit on supply. Clem is just playing the better game right now, though. These denies on the 4th. The run-bys of Nerchio not really being very efficient at all. In fact, I think that's the biggest issue. Nerchio's given up a lot of Zerglings to not do anywhere near enough based on how many Zerglings he's given up. That on top of losing the bases here. Clem applying some good pressure. Splits like this against those Banes, for example. I feel Clem's getting himself in a great position. Again, distracts up on the top side as he pushes the 4th base, takes it down. Absolutely fantastic stuff here by our Terran player. Clem is absolutely killing it at the moment. Like, absolutely killing it. What a great game number 1 from him. As obviously not over yet, but I mean, you couldn't have asked for much of a better start. Target fires the Banes with these tanks as well. Lifts up now and will just again pull away. He is losing a lot of tanks. That is one thing to be worried about with the Hydras on the way up. That dealing with this continued army from Nerchio will not be easy if you don't have enough tanks up. And there is only 2 tanks up at a time at the moment, it feels like. Because there's only ever time, you know, then he loses them. However, that said, we see a couple more tanks on the way out now as well. So they're going to be jumping in and getting going themselves. On the top left, scan into the main base just to see what's going on. Marines are going to stem forwards and get rid of a little bit of creep. One thing that Clem has neglected is the creep spread. So while he's done a very good job, his kind of forward pushes like this, well, he kind of needed to do a good job. It's almost a bit of a gamble. By focusing on other things, he's really neglected to get rid of the creep. So he can get rid of the creep now like he's done because he's done so well. But if he hadn't done so well, that creep would have been a major issue, as those lings are going to get us around on this and stream into the natural as well. So again, Nerchio very on top of the counterattacks, always going for them here, and always seemingly finding quite a lot of damage. This time, well, I say seemingly finding a lot of damage. He actually didn't have the greatest amount of damage with his previous counterattack, so that was incorrect of me to say, but he's this time definitely going to find a lot of damage into the third base as well. Not thinking that bunker. Tell you what, though, he still has to deal with this army on the other side, so I like that what Nerchio's doing. I think it's been a fantastic job. But he needs to clean this army up. He needs to have the Lings and Banes to fight this. Right now, the Banes just kind of running on their own. So the Marines pull back. They let the tanks do the work. The Zerglings getting ready to maybe surround this here. There's a few Queens, Banes, and Lings gathering together. Zerglings starting to take some damage. Banes rolling down the ramp. Connects on the front. A few Marines. Not really enough, though. 24 SCVs have gone down. Clem trails by 23 workers now. So that's pretty much everything that was lost. Scans coming down, man. It's just tough, though, because soon you're not even going to have creep spread here to work with as well. And the Terran can start sieging up to push in towards the natural. That's the point where Nerchio already needs to have kind of a defense in place. That defense in place is going to be tough to have because he's lost so much. Half the army supply there just for a moment. As you see the Queens coming forwards, but, well, I mean, Clem was pretty eager to try and get on top of those right away. Instead, he's just going to end up pulling back, lifting into the medevacs, and again, just leaving the siege tanks to kind of do a pretty reasonable amount of damage here. I mean, they clicked off a good few units, and now these Marines dropping down to protect this siege tank as well. Queens apparently can't see over here. I think they couldn't actually see because the line of sight blockers blocked the tank until the units came in on the other side. So I think that was slowing Nerchio down a little bit from actually getting the damage onto the tank that he was looking for, while that tank was actually still firing over that ledge. Okay, another couple of drops just loading up on the top side. This bottom left base came up, but as Marines find it, it goes down as well. Nerchio reset to 3 bases with really not much he can do about it. I mean, he's also supply blocks. Clem's army supply is, well, now definitely hurting a little bit as well. There's no medevac, but not that much. I mean, it's the lowish army supply because he's been so active and because he's slowed down so much of the Zerg. This supply block Nerchio is deadly, man. 5 overlords on the way. Took him a whole kind of 15-20 seconds to get out of that, and that really slows his production. As we're going to be seeing the units stimming in on towards the hatchery. Lings running forwards, and they're going to be able to get a couple of these Marines here. Hydras come in, though, and they are able to pick off the medevac, as now Marines and Marauders dropping down into the main. Well, gets the Hydra on the low ground already. Will stim just to pick up some overlords. And again, it's more so about just dealing some damage and just dropping around. Keeping the Zerg player distracted and from pushing across the map towards you. It's more so about that than it is about, you know, really dealing masses of damage with every single one of these drops. I'm going to stay in. We're just going to be seeing a couple of drones again. Picked away at here for the moment. Queen going to be taking some more hits as well. Will go down, loads up. Oh, that's not good. The Lings will move around their own extractor. Mistakes by Nerchio at the moment, as he struggles to deal with Clem here in game number 1. Obviously, when the Terran gets momentum, it's very hard to then break that momentum. And that's not what Nerchio is having an issue with right now. He needs that one big fight where Banes come crashing in from the left when Clem is splitting away from the right. You know, he needs that combination or something to bring himself back into this, but not happening at the moment. We're going to be seeing more Marines still stimming forwards, cleaning out a whole bunch of this. That's just going to be a GG there from Nerchio. Clem just has way too much. I mean, there's no coming back in this. Nerchio's losing drones at the same time. GG, and Clem is just absolutely monster moded Nerchio in this depot building. Because, believe it or not, it's not super exciting. And let's jump into game number 2. To the bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player. Give it up for the player who's up 1-0 in the best of 5. We have ourselves a Clem. Playing against the blue Zerg in the top left-hand side from Iron Chain. We've got ourselves a Nerchio. Rocking that Cyril portrait in-game. I love it. These guys, I always find it kind of funny. The pros are so active with using the different portraits and memeing with them a little bit as well. It's very fun to see and to keep track of. A lot of people like to use the Hero Marine portrait because they're a big fan of Big Gabe, and yeah, it's some good fun to kind of track through. So, all right, I'm gonna try and catch up a little bit on these decorations, guys, just as we get the early game going, just so we can keep things going. Again, multitasking is something I've learned a lot about since trying to write so many different Christmas decorations this month while also casting. It's definitely not been easy. Definitely has not been easy. You'd think my StarCraft skill would have improved, but turns out it didn't. Feels bad, man. I only have 2 more to write out, so almost done. And we'll talk about some interesting TVZ things. I know, exciting. Stop following this Overlord as well. You know what? I'll change what we follow for every decoration I write. There we go. Follow this Reaper now. Look at it go. Oh my god. Is it? Is that? No, it's microing against the Zerglings. But I mean, obviously, there's very standard dance here. Just a very standard Reaper expand going up against the Hatch Gas Pool. So no Lings counter-attacking. Nothing to really be concerned about here for either player. These are just the 2 of them going through the stages and going through the motions to get set up into what will generally lead into basically a very regular mid-game. Again, Clem doesn't get slowed down by anything. Nerchio doesn't try to do anything funky. Obviously, he's not going to take big damage from the Reaper because it's a Reaper. You know, it's Nerchio. He's not going to die. Like, you know, it's just the way of the world, guys, believe it or not. Nerchio doesn't die to Reapers in 2018. Well, maybe 3-Rax Reaper if he gets caught off guard on a bad day, but that would be really about it. So we're seeing a couple of grenades going down again. Reaper's pretty much done for the moment. As Lingspeed's about to finish up, that Reaper will want to head back home and then just stay safe until the Hellions get here. The Hellions coming in obviously make that Reaper able to kind of fight the Speedlings a little bit more, and even the grenade can actually be used sometimes to pop some Queens around still and to create some action there. So that's still something we can watch out for here. And again, those 2 Hellions and the Reaper now joined up together. As they're just going to try and get themselves a lava kill again, see what's on offer for the moment, I guess. And don't want to dive too far in just yet. Maybe with 4 Hellions he can go dive in, but also might just want to keep them nice and healthy and get set up for, you know, a mid-game where you could also push with these Hellions. So Raven currently on the way out from Clem. Interesting. Clem has played this style a couple of times where the Raven gets brought in. You use that for cleaning up creep. Gives the Hellions even a lot more creep clearing potential, and that's probably why he isn't diving in with them. Because if you have that Raven, then the Hellions have a lot of uses. Lings and Bayonettes from Nerchio obviously realizing he sees these Hellions and is maybe just a little bit concerned about what the build is. Maybe a little bit concerned about an armory and a Hellbat attack, but that's not going to be the case, so Nerchio can continue to drone. Doesn't really need to build Banelings just yet either as well, and we'll see if he's identified that. I think he saw the Raven, which means he probably does. Very difficult to afford the Raven as well as an armory here. And there's just so many better options if you want to actually trade with the Hellions. It comes back to the same idea, right? If you've got a Raven, you probably want to keep it and the Hellions on the map, whereas if you've got, you know, anything like a Liberator or a Banshee, you're much more likely to give those Hellions up in a trade to force units, etc. So, again, I like the way that Nerchio's thinking here. However, I don't like the way that he's got this natural expansion wide open, but Queen's on the way over. Evo chamber from one of the moving drones helps to block it off. It's actually a job well done as the Raven does get 3 kills though, so still getting some drones. Clem finding damage where he can, just with the little bits and pieces. They do add up, 3 drones. 3 drones at a time. It's pretty nice. Obviously, it's just the first 3 so far. Hellions dive in. The most important thing, again, I feel, getting that creep tumor, because that will slow down the Zerg player moving on from here. At home, Clem goes into the +1 attack. Probably the +1 armor very shortly. SCV production underway. Actually, no, going to cancel that and more for Noble, but free base SCV production going to be on the way soon, so his economy is looking good as we see Nerchio option to go in towards a lair. The single Evo chamber that was used to block earlier may want to be used for upgrades. He does have double Evo, but is yet to put them into use. Nerchio needs to remember that soon, because otherwise he is going to fall behind on upgrades, and that's going to open a long kind of window for Clem to deal damage in. I mean, not just is the first few seconds of a fight going to be favourable for Clem, we're talking about entire pushes rallying across the map from Clem that are going to be favourable. Nerchio does get them started, so it's only a 30-second difference. That's very manageable here. And we'll see if he can maybe cut that down on 2-2 if Clem forgets to start his 2-2 round time. Although things looking good at the moment because we do have the couple of the armory already on the way up. So Clem should be pretty on point with this. He's going to patrol on the upper left-hand side. You see some SCVs. Just transferring between bases as well. Hydralist Den dropping down the back of the natural. Again, armory just coming up at the front. As you see the couple of tanks and sieging. And away goes Clem. Off and across the top left-hand side here. Alright then. So a little bit of a push. Obviously he has that Raven in play. An anti-armor missile could be big for him. Hitting anti-armor onto those Lings and they will melt against these Marines. It's almost about like having +3 Marines against 0 armor Zerglings. It's going to be very tough. And I tell you what, Nerchio has not really seen this attack coming in either, so he isn't able to really leap on this right away. Actually just going to see the auto turrets initially. There is some Banelings in the back end. He's to try and target those down with the tanks, and he will get those Banes. Now it's only really Zerglings there. Oh my god. This +1 attack finished at such a timing. The Lings just did melt. Never mind an anti-armor missile. Wasn't even needed. The auto turrets initially just ducked the Lings' attention for a little while. A few tank shots got off. He then target fired the Banelings with the tanks. And by target firing the Banes, the Marines were able to just turn around and fight the Zerglings. So all the Zerglings went down. Good push here by Clem. He was really putting himself in a very strong position. Meanwhile, 2 of his medevacs heading out up to the top. Clem coming in with this group of Marines going for the hatchery. Zerglings running forwards, and well, a few of those will go down. Tank continue to fire here, and again, Marines will stem forwards. Another Queen picked off. A little bit of back and forth right now as the tank's still firing, the Marines still stemming. Drops into the main base. Tank and Marines setting up here from Clem as he's going to get ready to stem for that main base. So Clem stems in towards the main. A few drones already going down. Oh man, this drop's actually really deadly. Nerchio was not ready at all for this. The Lings go and deal with the tank, but not the Marines. So the Queen goes down, more Lings go down. He's still poking at Queens on this bottom side as well. Spawning pool doesn't go down. He loses a few Marines, but he saves a few as well. Maybe able to get a bit more done with them. Reinforcements are coming down the bottom side. All the Lings on the top, which means that these Queens for a moment or two are in trouble. I mean, even when the Lings get here, they're probably in some trouble as well, really, because there's no Banes to back them up or anything. The upgrades aren't exactly brilliant either. It's not an overwhelming number of Zerglings. Finally, the Banelings start rolling in, but now you can pull back towards the siege tanks. First Banes do connect. Oh, actually, the Banes do really well. I tell you what, those Queens are still in some trouble, aren't they? Man, these Queens just keep on dropping. Tanks still firing on either side. How? How? How does he do this? That's kind of insane. This hatchery survives, but Nerchio's just going to pull away and send to another hatch. He does have 2 more up and running. And Nerchio's going to come in and clean that out. Clem's going to come in and clean this out, but Nerchio just doesn't have much to hold on with beyond this as well. That's one of the big issues here. 2 upgrades coming in here from Clem. Going to be seeing a few Banes and a few more Zerglings getting going. Down at the bottom, just going to be seeing some Marines stemming in. Crypt Tumor is going to be cleaned out by a bunch of these Marines. Lings and Bane's going to continue pressing forwards, and we are going to be seeing a few of those Marines having a lift up. Marines on the top side as well, going to be pushing in. Again, just Clem getting momentum early, and now he's going to drop around the map. When we saw it happen in game number 1, he gives us little kid momentum, and he is going to run with it. He's going to make things happen. And that's exactly what we're seeing here at the moment. Hive on the way up in the natural. Marines will drop down and again clean up a few more Zerglings. Here we go with medevacs, Marines, and tanks pushing through the center as well. And Nerchio is just going to be everywhere trying to defend. Bottom left-hand side, top right-hand side, in the center of the map too. In fact, he's going to be so far around the map, he isn't going to really exist anymore. GG's, Nerchio. Believe it or not, funny how that works, isn't it? Top right hand side, we have the blue Zerg player down 0-2, trying to fight back This is Nerchio. Hasn't even looked bad, really. It's just that the bottom left Terran player in red, Clem, has looked so good. Has been just so good with the way he's been playing at the moment, actually. Like, just very impressive stuff, I would say. Really, really impressive stuff from Clem. Really just, I would say, again, like, approaching everything in the right sort of way and dealing with things properly. Always aggressive. Just, I love the way that he's moving his army around the map. Like, he's dropping here, then he's dropping there. That sort of stuff is always pretty awesome to see. So yeah, crazy stuff from Clem. Been loving watching him this last month or so, actually. Clem's actually given us some really awesome games, even if he hasn't done super well in the tournaments. There's Clem. Early game here, just setting up into that Reaper Expand. It's again hatch gas pool from Nerchio. No sort of shenanigans towards that pool first, which could maybe lead in towards the potential aggression to change this game up. Just going to play it standard once more and try and make the changes, the alterations, a little bit later on here. I mean, again, it's not like a pool first is necessarily going to save the day, but it could be the start of, you know, getting the momentum on your side, rather than letting Clem dictate the game from the very early stages. SCV will scout across the map. Maybe that's why he doesn't do it, because he just knows that Clem SCV scouts anyways. Clem's SCV scout allows him to see if the hatchery is down as a hatchery first. And as soon as he sees that group there, he knows that it is. So he moves it over to the left-hand side so he can move this back and forth. By doing this, this SCV is going to be patrolling on the third base. Kind of blocks it in. We saw that last game actually allowed him to kill a drone there. And it also gives him the information that his Reaper is safe to come across the map because he knows there aren't Zerglings moving across. So it's kind of like a win-win-win. As you see the Reaper hopping up. Wings nibbling away on those low ground rocks. And again, the SCV blocks the drone. So no super fast third hatch from Nerchio. I feel like, again, Clem kind of already sort of says, you know, you build your third base when I want you to build your third base, not any sooner. Drone becomes an extractor again. Clem will keep the Reaper nearby, though. Actually, he's going to even come so close as to force that extractor to take some damage. Extractor going to be taking some hits as we do have Overlord moving along. Starport on the way up in the main base. Tech Lab dropping down on the racks. Reaper does get the drone kill as it comes out. He gets the shot off. So man, again, nice little delay there. Obviously, eventually Nerchio just takes the base on the right side, but still getting a drone kill is something that's very difficult to do with the Reaper at this level of play. So Clem coming in and Link Speed about to finish up here. As we do have the Zerglings, the Hellion, coming across the map. More drones on the way through at the moment. Let's see, the first couple of Hellions. Clem hasn't been too aggressive with his Hellions. He ran, and game number one, I guess he ran the first two by. But he's once again going for this Raven build, which I feel like if you go for the Raven build, running the Overlords, running the Hellions by is, again, something that doesn't really make sense. The Raven just adds so much to the Hellions that it's definitely worth just keeping those around. Thank you so much, by the way. ZvT coming in with a $5 donation. It says, Merry Christmas, Wardy, and thank you for a great stream on Christmas Day. Thank you so much for the $5, ZvT. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Happy face. Smiles all around. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. Alright. The Hellions coming in. Nice grenade, actually. Pops those queens backwards a little. As I do see the couple of Hellions just still hanging out over on the left-hand side. A few queens coming forwards. Nerchio ready to greet a couple of other units. He has the Raven coming in as well. So Clem, again, maybe looking to see what he can do. Maybe, does it worth auto turret? I don't think so. I don't think it is at all. I think he just wants a tier for the detection so he can maybe get a creep tumor or two somewhere. Anyways, back at home again. Very standard stuff. 2 extra racks, stim pack, third CC. Siege tank production will obviously build towards a potential marine tank push. We'll see if Clem does look to use that as we see those Hellions coming in. Oh, that is an auto turret to try and fight these queens here as they come quite far forwards. Let's see, one queen going down. Raven is brought away. Creeper Grenade doesn't really do much, but the Ling's starting to arrive. Time for those Hellions to really think about maybe getting out. Or actually, you know what? He's actually past the Queens already. So he could dive by for a mineral line. Looks as though that might be Clem's plan. The Lings have split up into a couple different directions, though. So the surround is possible. And actually, the Lings are going to come in and swarm those Hellions in the end anyways. Clem picking off a few more Lings as this goes. That really is just about going to be it. A few Hellions actually still alive here. If he gets rid of, out with those alive, that's actually really nice, because he did kill a lot here overall. Grenade goes down, pops the Queen back just a little bit. +1 melee. Upgrades coming in from Nerchio. +1 attack upgrades from Clem are pretty similarly timed. Last game, the +1 attack finished up during a fight, and it was hugely, massively influential. Like, it was ridiculously influential. Just because it was like 10 seconds sooner than the upgrades of the Zerg. Is when those Lings all ran into the 4th base defense with a couple of tanks there on Port Alexander, and I mean, he just melted everything as the Raven comes in, uses its detecting abilities to take down a Creep Tumor, and I feel like that was meant to be a dive for the Creep Tumor, not so much the Queen, but backs away knowing his Hellions are low and having mistargeted. Better to just back away and keep the Hellions alive rather than anything else here, as we'll see these, this Raven and these Hellions able to pick up a good amount of creep here so far. Again, active creep tumors cost energy to replace. So, you know, every active tumor that goes down needs 25 energy to be replaced. That's less transfusions. It's just less use out of the Queens overall. So it's nice kills to get as we see Marines and tanks pushing forwards. That CVs will come in and they will start to repair up these Hellions as well here on the bottom left-hand side. One Queen goes down. We're seeing a couple more creep tumors going down as well, pulling back a little bit. Another auto turret comes in the corner. I like the position of it there, as maybe a tank can just pull forwards here to try and get the Banes to set off. Ah, perfect. Pulls kind of the same idea, right? Stops the tanks microing backwards and just micros the Marines back. Works perfectly, does exactly what you need it to. Good stuff, as we see the 1-1 from Clem about to get finished here. And again, the few Hellions and the Reaper of Clem coming around to the right-hand side. Going to look to see what they can do. And, well, just see if there's any opportunities for them, basically. Hive on the way up in the natural expansion. We do see, again, tanks and Marines just chilling out over on the third base. Combat shields on the way up. And, again, a couple more racks coming down. Just setting up truly into this mid-game. 2-2 upgrades on both sides. Still kind of evened out as well, but I tell you what, Nerchio is only ahead by a couple of workers. Again, I feel like the crew spread is very impressive from Nerchio as the Hellions drive by at this stage. Hellions aren't going to add too much to a fight or anything, and there's only so much more harassment you can do. So running them by into a mineral line like this works quite well as, oh my god! Well, this was actually terrible for Clem for a moment, but then the Banes all went off on the tanks. So it was only Zerglings left over, so Clem sort of somewhat salvaged it. But now he's obviously without siege tanks, which obviously doesn't quite work so well either. Okay, so Nerchio jumping on the army there, that's a nice little pickup. Let's see if he can do something with this momentum now as he's going into Hive. Pureling Bane, no Hydras, no Infestors, no, you know, nothing at all, no Mutalisks, no other mid-game tech, just straight to the Hive. This can be risky against big 2-2 pushes when you're just on Ling Bane, but let's see if that swarm of Ling Bane will be able to be enough. Auto is going down. Oh, that Baneling connection is big. Auto will pick up a few kills. The Raven overall has 15. But obviously, it's very cheap units like Zerglings and so it's not hugely influential. A couple of Creep Tumors are on the way up. Hydralisks on the way out. Again, +2 melee and +2 Carapace are going to be finishing soon. Adrenal Glands from Nerchio. Also just moments away from getting finished. With Grooved Spines also on the way out from Nerchio as well. Did he scan while he had the Raven? Probably like an one of those things where it's like a bit of a reflex. But also, I mean, the Raven was going down, so maybe he wanted to keep it. I wasn't sure exactly when it happened. It might also be the fact that he was trying to scan ahead to see exactly what was running in towards him. So it wasn't a scan for creepers as much as a scan for vision. That was always something that can happen here as these medevacs actually fly over these queens. That's a little bit of an ouch moment, as Nerchio has a ton of money as well, by the way. Is now going into some infestors, so is not going to go for that Ultralisk Cavern, as you might have expected as soon as you got Hive. Instead, plus 3 upgrades. Hydra upgrades, adrenal glands, infestors. They have a weird mix from Nerchio, definitely not the sort of the usual comp you would go for. Though Nerchio is one of these players that will play slightly different styles off over in the TVZ and in matchups in general. I mean, he was a big player for the kind of the lurker style in that ZvP back when he won DreamHack Tours against Showtime. And let's hold that Fort Marine is going to come in. I tried to think Showtime won against Nerchio there. But, was that Showtime? Showtime beat Nerchio in Tours, right? And then Nerchio won Valencia, I believe. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, he was a big fan of the lurker style then. He was one of the real advocates for it, and it definitely wasn't the most standard go-to play style with all the drops and stuff. If you're trying to think of what that style looks like, if you know what Namshot plays like in ZvP nowadays, it's very similar to that, actually. But yeah, Nerchio's always been one to kind of, you know, go for these different builds. He's always, you know, been kind of one of these guys that would play roaches even if they're not super common in the ZvT as well. Kind of like Snoot in a way. You see those infestors dropping some fungals, but going down. The tank shots are good, and Nerchio has just had a set of engagements that has not been successful.